Hello and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I want you guys to know that I truly appreciate you, all of the new subscribers that I have coming in, all of the ones that are faithful and that have been here with me. I want you guys to know that I appreciate you so much as we work hard over here to bring you good content and truthful content, okay? Today I wanted to talk about keyglock and why keyglock was a target, okay? Because he is a target because keyglock is definitely a target. And in the beginning, when young Dolph was taken out, you know, there was a lot of rumors as it relates to why young Dolph was taken out and things of that nature. And I think we're starting to, a lot now, as we start to see indictments, a lot is starting to come to pass, right? And keyglock's name was brought up quite a bit, you know, when young Dolph was murdered. And I think it was mainly because everywhere you saw Dolph, you saw keyglock. Dolph truly cared about keyglock. He saw his potential. He was grooming him as his artist. He wanted to see him just as successful as he wanted to see himself. And you could basically see that with young Dolph in all of his artists. It became clear to everybody that young Dolph was definitely grooming keyglock to be up next, especially around the Memphis area. He had made him a millionaire pretty early on, teaching him the game. Keyglock seemed very hungry, and you could tell that young Dolph kind of doted on keyglock. You know, he loved teaching him the game, and it was evident, especially to a lot of young Dolph's haters, that keyglock, you know, meant a lot to him. Although they were individual artists, they was definitely the perfect duo. Listen to young Dolph. He talked about how he had attained and gone as far as he had ever wanted to in the music industry, and he was ready to start just putting on other artists and making them millionaires because he had already attained that success. He was moving on to billionaire status. He had started investing in other business, and so he was teaching people like keyglock and you know, his cousin Jay Fizzle and Kenny Money and all of those artists that was up under him. He was Big Moochie Grape. You know, he had been in New York with Big Moochie Grape helping him with that song Christopher Wallace in October of 2021. You know, he was just, you know, getting a lot of gratification out of seeing his artists come up, and he was going to sign more artists. He had signed the artist and that he was really excited about earlier that year from Chicago named Shatana. Dolph was just doing a darn thing. But of course, keyglock was one of the ones that stood out, and he still stands out. Although all of them are extremely talented, he stands out because every time you saw young Dolph, you saw keyglock. Young Dolph has said himself that each and every one of his artists would get their time, and it seems like to me that it was keyglock's time. And I believe he had started, you know, wanted to groom and move on to each artist. He wanted to individually, if you listen to him in his interviews, he wanted to individually work with them and teach them to the game, which is a good thing. And I think keyglock was a target because a lot of people wanted to believe that just because keyglock, the people that have been, a couple of them that have been indicted for young Dolph's death, okay, keyglock knew. But what a lot of people fail to understand is all of those people around that area knew each other. South Memphis is just not that big. What a lot of people fail to understand is that Keyglock did not introduce straight drop to Young Dolph. Young Dolph was already familiar with straight drop, although he may not have dealt with him like that. He was already familiar with him. Keyglock didn't have to take straight drop to Young Dolph and introduce them. They was already familiar with each other because Young Dolph already knew quite a few members of Trulia Mafia. I'm reminded of the brothers D Money and J Money. Young Dolph had his own relationship with them before they were killed, unfortunately. Everybody in South Memphis knew each other. They just did, especially if they was trying to get into the music industry and just even in the streets. Quite a few of the members of Trulia Mafia, even the ones that are deceased now, some of them was trying to get into the music industry just like Straight Drop was. As I said, if I'm not mistaken, the two brothers was trying to get into the music industry. You see J Money with pictures with him and Black Youngster and hanging out with Yo Gotti and all of them. Hell, you even see in this picture right here Lil Boosie hanging out with Trulia Mafia. At one time, the rumor is Young Dolph was, kind of close to members of Trulia Mafia, specifically J Money and D Money. The rumor is at one time Trulia Mafia was even his security. He kind of kept them around as his security, and that kind of went awry when there was some Young Dolph started to believe that people were playing both sides, or there was some disloyalty. Now that's the rumor. I can't confirm that because unfortunately, D Money and J Money are deceased now, but those are the two that he was close to. Okay, so he was around Teezy and them at one point. The vices in the background that wanted to get at Keyglock because they wanted to destroy everything that Young Dolph had going on. They really wanted to destroy his legacy, and they saw Keyglock as a threat. When Young Dolph was killed, they understood, the drive that Young Dolph had. They understood what he had quietly attained, and they couldn't stop it. Like he just had a will. If you listen to him, he always talked about, in order to stop me, you're gonna have to take me out, and that's what a lot of people was willing to do, because there was many attempts, a couple that we know of, but he said that there was many attempts on his life. He spoke about that because they just did not want to see him shine. And so when he was killed, so many people are still reminded of Young Dolph when they look at Keyglock. I believe that he reminds all those people that worked so hard to get Young Dolph out of the way. He reminds them of the threat that Young Dolph was to them and what his legacy is to them. Because, like I said, you see Boosie in the hood with Trulia Mafia, hanging out with Trulia Mafia, even back in the day. That was when J Money was still alive, so he's been knowing Trulia Mafia even way back then. And there he is hanging out with Teezy and Devin Burns and all of them. So, these people have been knowing each other. And so even back then, you saw a lot of the vices hanging in the hood, wanting to sign these young dudes that was talented, because Memphis has a lot of talent, and take advantage of them. They offer them the fame, but they don't necessarily get the wealth. Young Dolph represented wealth and financial independence. He said that he wouldn't be a rich slave. And people see, when they see Keyglock, they see that. When they see Pre, they see that. They understand that a lot of those young men that still on Pre are hardcore, loyal mentees to Dolph. They don't know what all Dolph taught them, but they know he had to have taught them a lot, because he was big on financial independence. And so when they see Keyglock getting all the shine, because he's kind of the one that's out front, and I'm sure the other dudes don't mind it because they making money just the same, because Dolph taught them how to make that independent money. That's that long money, and not be somebody's slave. Keyglock talked about how many deals on his Twitter that he had turned down just this year. because young Dolph taught them how to get money. So when you see all these vultures that's going and signing all this talent and hijacking them and making them famous and not rich, okay? When they look at Keyglock and they don't know, because Keyglock is still in his early 20s. They know what Dolph has taught him. They don't know which way he's gonna go, because he's got the fame and he's got the right amount of money to do exactly what Dolph did. That's a threat to them, to these vultures that want to consistently go into the hoods and hijack and rob these young black African American men. And so what they do is they gas these young African American men up, like straight dropping them, and dangle money and stuff in their face to go and take out somebody like young Dolph that may end up opening their eyes and teaching them the game. So they really shot themselves in the foot when they killed young Dolph, because young Dolph truly represented financial freedom. Okay? Honestly, he did. That's the reason why he turned down the $21 million. And so when they see Keyglock, they know that Keyglock has instilled in him a lot of what young Dolph taught him. All of those jewels, all those gems, even those other young men. And they are a threat. Even with Grove Hero owns almost half of North Memphis, because he's been buying up houses and remodeling those houses. So young Dolph's spirit lives on. That's the reason why these Negroes mad. That's the reason why they want Keyglock gone. Because they know he's young enough to have the endurance to carry on. These dudes have gotten older, and what they do is they pimp these young dudes. That's what they do. They pimp them. They sign them to these 360 deals. They tell them to be, so they can either be in jail because they're in bed with these private prisons, okay, or die because they got these high insurance policies on them. That should be illegal. And so because young Dolph was bold enough to speak about all this, because he didn't have any constraints on him, nobody owned him. They wanted him out the way. And Keyglock reminds them a lot of him. And that's why they've had all these people. They hired some of everybody to get on the internet to try and ruin his name. And it was basically because they had killed young Dolph's body, and it was pissing them off that his spirit lived on through his artist. His spirit will always live on through his artist, through his work. That would never be forgotten. He left that behind. He left a blueprint behind. His legacy will always live on through his children, through his woman that's doing good work. So it pisses them off when they've killed his body, and now they got to go away for the rest of their lives, because they really ruined their lives. He's ascended to another dimension, and they're still down here low vibrational, and they got to pay for what they did to him, because they gonna pay. Ain't nobody getting away with what they did to young Dolph. But they were so messed up and jealous of young Dolph that they wanted to, even after they took him out, they saw Keyglock going up and all the attention that was, because people, kind of started looking to him. Okay? They know that he will carry on young Dolph's legacy, and I even see it in young Dolph's son. When he grows up, I believe he's going to carry on his dad's legacy. You could just see that maturity in him. And these devils that took him away from here is frustrated. Okay? They're frustrated because they thought once they killed his body, they wouldn't have to witness the greatness that God had put on the inside of them. So they tricked themselves out of their positions because they got to go away for life. Trying to take young Dolph out of his position and wanted to take Keyglock out of his position. Okay? That's exactly what was going on. I want you guys to know how much I appreciate you so much. I love you guys. You absolutely rock. You make this channel what it is. I want you all to know that this channel would not be what it is without you. It is consistently growing, and I am so grateful to you guys. Please hit the like button. As I said, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you would like to support the channel, you can definitely do it via Cash App. Now, I wanted to stay classy and keep this video classy, but y'all know I'm a South Memphis girl all day. For those persons who have an issue with this video that I just did because either they hating or, they feel like there's a lot of mental illness on this internet. They feel like you're supposed to do what they want you to do. There's a lot of people that comes from a lot of mental sickness as it relates to these YouTube streets. But for those persons that's got a problem with what I do, what a grown woman does on my YouTube channel, and hate on this video, kiss my ass all up in the good doo-doo parts, okay? I want y'all to have a good day.